Hello, this lecture is on design of RCC beam for torsion based on limit state method. So this is the procedure which is supposed to be followed for torsion. First we need to find out factored values, then equivalent shear. Now this step to calculate equivalent shear is very important because this is the governing criteria for whether the beam is going to go under torsion or not. That is, if and only if the equivalent shear generated due to torsion is greater than the nominal shear, then and then only a beam needs to be designed for torsion. That is what code says. So these are the steps which are going to be followed for this particular example. But problem, effective depth or the design depth of a section is not given, so which needs to be calculated. So we'll look up to the formulation. I mean, look up to the question they have given. They have given bending moment of 42 kilonewton meter, shear force of 30 kilonewton, twisting moment, that is torsional moment of 12 kilonewton meter, with a beam width of 300 mm and grade of concrete as M20 and Fe 415. They have asked us for design the beam with a torsional effect, which is considered. Therefore, it is considered that this beam will have tau E greater than tau C, which we will check in further steps. But remember, we will use this line to modify our steps and to check in turn whether tau E is greater than tau C and it needs a torsional reinforcement or not. Okay, so first you should write given data. It is important to write given data because sometimes we might write some values from previous examples or some wrong interpretation. So it is important to write given data and particular units of it. So all the values given in this particular numerical are working values, are unfactored values. So wherein M is 42 kilonewton meter, shear force is 30 kilonewton, twisting moment is 12 kilonewton meter, width of beam is 300 mm, M20 and Fe 415 grade steel is used. Make note of the grades too because sometimes the grades vary, might vary drastically. So solution number one step is to calculate factored values. So mu, Vu and Tu, they all are multiplied by 1.5 to get 63 kilonewton meter, 45 kilonewton shear force and 18 kilonewton meter factored torsional moment. Okay. Now first step is to calculate depth of section. Now we have assumed it as a balanced section. Now from page number 70, clause number 38.1, XM for balance section is 48.48 D. So we have used equilibrium equation. Mu uh, is equal to 0.36 FCK B into XM D minus 0.42 XM. So this gives us the depth required, that is 275.88 mm. Now since the beam carries torsion and shear, the beam depth needs to be increased by almost a factor of 2.5. It is approximately 2.5. Now it is designer's jurisdiction, it is designer's choice how much the factor should be. So in this particular problem, since this is exam oriented, we don't need to go for rechecks or don't need to understand the economy of a, like in real structure we do. So this is something which needs to be for pure application of torsion. So don't worry about depth. There is no constraint of depth given. So you have considered the total depth as 630 mm. It is assumed that bars are of 16 mm diameter. Since the depth is 600, the bars need to be of significant size, at least 16 mm bars at bottom. So, and there is a assumption of mild exposure with a nominal cover of 22 mm given on page number 47, table number 16. So therefore the effective cover turns out to be 30 mm and the effective depth turns out to be 600 mm. Now we need to check for shear, the equivalent shear generated due to torsion, which is given on page number 75 in clause number 41.3.1, where VE is equal to VU plus 1.6 TU upon B. Remember, B should be substituted in meter and not in mm just to check for unit compatibility. So VE turns out to be 141 kilonewton. From that, we can calculate e equivalent shear stress generated due to torsion, that is tau E, which turns out to be 0.783 Newton per mm square. Now, keep and calculate longitudinal reinforcement. Now, longitudinal reinforcement is in turn given on page number 75 from clause number 41.4.2, where ME1 is equal to MU plus MT, where MT is again a function of TU, which is again given as TU 1 plus D by B 1.7. Remember here, over here, D by B is merely a ratio, so no need to worry about the units. You can substitute it in meter or in mm, but of course, both should be in same unit. So MT turns out to be 32.82 kilonewton meter and ME turns out to be 95.82 kilonewton meter, which is less than MRC, which is less than moment of resistance of concrete for a beam of depth 600 mm. Remember, we have increased the depth to 600 mm, which in turn now depth is proportional to MRC with a square function, right? So MRC is directly proportional to square of depth if you are doing as a balance section. So MRC for this particular 600 mm is almost greater than 200 kilonewton meter. So which is definitely much larger than ME1. Therefore, the beam is safe. Okay, you can compute it and find it out. But no need to do the separate calculation of it because that is not the main aspect of it. Okay, just yes, of course, but we need to just check for it that is safe or not. Okay, now since mu is greater than mt, this is again an important criteria given on page number 75, clause number 41.4.2.1, where it is mentioned if mu is greater than mt, there is no need for flexural reinforcement on compression side. If this is not valid, that is mt is greater than mu, then it needs an extra reinforcement on compression phase, that is on top phase, if this clause is not valid. But in this particular case, mu is greater than mt, so there is no need of compression reinforcement on flexural of on compression. Next, calculating longitudinal reinforcement for equivalent bending moment ME1. Now, again using our equilibrium equation for AST, we can write ME1 is equal to 0.87 Fy AST d minus Fy AST FCK B. Better we use these standard formulations only instead of using some constants, because this is more cleaner way of substituting numbers, and this gives more accurate answers, and moreover it gives clear insight of what the parameters are and how they are affecting our required parameters. So AST required turns out to be 80.06 mm square. Then again we have to calculate a minimum amount of required tension reinforcement, which is given as 0.87 0.85 PD upon Fy, which turns out to be 368.37 mm square, which is greater than AST required. So we have to substitute at steel greater than 368.37 mm square. So we have substituted 16 mm torr steel bar of 16 mm diameter torr steel bar, 2 number of bars, and 12 mm diameter torr steel bar, 1 number of bar. So we give AST of 515 mm square. Now this is under reinforced section since we have designed steel for ME1. Okay, so yes, it is under reinforced too. Okay, so we need to calculate design shear strength. Now again from page number 73, table number 19, we have to find out percentage steel, and from that, from table number 19, we have to interpolate between values 0.25 and 0.5 for M20 grade concrete to get tau c value, and from that we got tau c as 0.37 Newton per mm square. Now this tau c has to be less than tau c max, and which is true in this case, which is given on table number 20, page number 73, which is 2.8 Newton per mm square, where tau c is shear strength of concrete, pure concrete, which has to be always greater than tau e and tau c. Hence, the beam is safe. Now, the important criteria. Now, if you could see over here, tau e from the previous slide computed was 0.7 and tau c turns out to be 0.37. which proves that tau E is greater than tau C. Hence, this beam does require a torsional reinforcement in longitudinal and transverse steel form. So the question given is right, and that line, our assumption that it requires a torsional movement, is also right. Okay, so this is again given on page number 75, clause number 41.3.3. Remember, we should always mention wherever possible this page number and clause number. This gives the examiner, the checker, the insight that you do know, you do understand the code provisions very cleanly, and this is just betterment of your engineering, because this makes you quite familiar to code 2. Next step is to calculate transverse reinforcement. Now the code has given the calculation for transverse reinforcement in terms of area of transverse reinforcement. We are going to modify this, and we are going to find out, instead of area of transverse reinforcement, we are going to find out spacing of transverse reinforcement. Now in this particular problem, the B1 and D1, that is center to center distance between corner bars in direction of width and center to center distance between corner bars in direction of depth, this is computed by using nominal cover, where B is subtracted by 22 from left and right hand side respectively. So value of B1 and D1 is nothing but extreme edge distance of both width and depth side up to the edge of bar along that face. So it comes out to be 240 mm and 540 mm. Herein an 8 mm two-legged stirrup of grade 415 is used, so which gave ASV of 100.5 mm square, from which if you substitute this ASV on formula given above, you will get SV required as 210.65 mm. Now to calculate or to confirm a particular SV given for spacing on page number 48 under clause number 26.5.1.7, where SV should be less than either B1 or B1 plus D1 by 4, or less than 300, least of the above. So for this particular problem, it turns out to be 195 mm. So we have provided spacing of 1. Now again, code says to check for ASV minimum. That is, the provided ASV, that is area of shear reinforcement, should be minimum of that of this given formula. Now from this formula, if you substitute the given values, turns out that ASV minimum is 66.92 mm square, whereas ASV provided is 100.5 mm square, which is greater than ASV minimum. Hence, again, on page number 48, clause number 26.5.1.7, there is a clause for a side face reinforcement. That is, for a beam depth greater than 450 mm, we need to provide a side face reinforcement equivalent to 0.1% of AST provided along the vertical faces of beam. So that zero point 0.1 of AST turns out to be very small value, but in reality we provide at least some significant amount of percent steel. So herein we have provided 10 mm diameter, two number of bars on each face. Finally, we need to draw a detailed drawing of our design so as to gain maximum mark or out mark for a given problem. Remember, without drawing, this solution is incomplete. You are supposed to draw a detailed, neat drawing of the designed beam, where you have to mention depth, width, effective depth, bars provided, diameter of bar provided very cleanly. Okay, so this is how it should be done. Thank you.